me and Porter decided to come up to the woods, do a little overnight scouting camping trip. It's the middle of July. No better time to do a scouting camping trip. Porter's been wanting to go camping for a long time. Just so happened to be that this weekend worked out really well for us to just go camping. So we came up to the woods, just me and him. We're gonna do a little overnighter. Any animals that we see from now until about evening, my guess is they're gonna be bedded. And they're probably gonna be bedded up in the shade. So that's gonna be the areas we target. My goal for this trip is to find a bear. Because bear season opens in 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks until opening day of bear. If we could just locate a bear so I have a good idea of where to start on opening day, that would be great. Obviously more deer just to continue to confirm the deer area. We want to keep finding animals, and I want to keep putting more and more spots together just so we have backups. Because it's one thing to be up here scouting and seeing animals when there's nobody up here, but come hunting season, these woods aren't going to be as empty as they are right now. You're going to have to deal with other people, pressure of other hunters and things like that. And so having multiple spots to be able to go to as backups is good. So that's kind of what we're doing up here, is seeing where we're seeing animals and where we're seeing them the most, and then kind of, you got spot A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. So that's what we're going to do. Before we kind of kick off this day and really get going, I want to read you guys the verse of the day. All right, this is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10. It says, "The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe." God, I just thank you for this day, Lord. I thank you for just the time I get to spend in your presence, in your creation, up here in the mountains with Porter. I ask you to bless our time, keep us safe, watch over us. God, I just pray for anyone watching this who doesn't know you, Lord. I pray that they would come to know you, Father. And anyone who already knows you, God, would just come to know you better. I love you and thank you for everything you've given me and done in my life. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. We've hit a couple different glassing points. Super hot though. I mean, it is midday hotness. Haven't seen one animal, at least big game. I've seen a couple squirrels, but no actual like game animals. But a lot of that just, almost all of it has to do, honestly, right now, just with how hot it is. If you're up in the woods scouting in midday or whatever on a hot day, the best thing to do is really just utilize your time to check out road systems that you haven't been down, and just go learn some new stuff that you haven't been to, because you're probably not going to really see much as far as animals go. And if you do see an animal, it's a bonus. But really, it's just good to get a good lay of the land on stuff that you haven't seen before. That's basically what we've been doing, just driving around, hitting a couple new areas that we haven't been to. Porter's over here playing with his trucks, which is pretty fun. And he found a caterpillar. That's cool, buddy. Hopefully in a few we find something to show you. Well, we just found our first deer. Got a little video of it, but it's like way down here, and I think there's a road up here we're gonna drive. I think I might be able to get closer and get a better angle of it and let Porter see it too. He can't. He's so short, the grass on the side of the roads is like over his head and he can't see. Clear cut is at such a steep angle where the deer is that he just can't see down there. So I told him we'll try and drive down to the road and get closer and see if we can get a better angle on a deer. It's right there. Look straight down. It's right there, straight down. Look with your binoculars. How about this? What if I blow at it and it runs? Oh, up down. Well, that was cool. We ended up, just like I thought, came down this road. She was down there at the bottom, and I gave a couple blows on the old call, and she came right below us. And then she smelt us and took off, and got her in close enough that Porter was able to get a glimpse of her and see her and everything. Let's go find another one. Okay, well, we're all set up here. Porter's gonna sleep here. I'm gonna sleep here. And everything's set up. Now we're just gonna glass, look for animals. Hopefully we find more. We still only seen the one doe from earlier today. It's now 6:45. Glass for a little bit longer, cook dinner, which is gonna be hot dogs, or what's on the menu. You excited for hot dogs, Porter?
Yep.
I just glassed up a doe down here below me, 270 yards below me. When I first spotted her, she was looking into the trees, like looking at something between the trees. But she's like right below me. I've been glassing like all out in here, not for that long, maybe 5 minutes, nothing. And then I just like got up to just move to just get a little bit better angle to my left. And when I looked down the clearing, I'm like, man, that looks like a deer. Sure enough, doe. That's 2 deer today. Definitely slower than it has been, but maybe it's going to start picking up here any minute. It's starting to pick up a little bit. 7:15. Just glassed up a doe and a fawn across the canyon from me, about 600 yards to the left of where they are. In a different clearing, I spotted a little. I call it a tall spike, maybe a small 2-point. He looks like he's split. He definitely has a knob on top, and he looks like he's splitting, but he's like 650 yards. I ranged him. He was 650. So from what I can tell, he might be splitting. I don't know. We'll call him a tall spike. Saw him across there, the 2 does, and that's just in the last couple minutes. So it's starting to pick up. Hopefully we find that big buck. Ah, what was that? I just looked back over to look at that buck. It's actually 2 bucks. There's 2 there. And they're just working their way up the hill. They're about the same size. They're like tall spikes, maybe small 2-points. Hard to tell, but definitely would be a legal deer. In Washington, it only has to be like through the hairline to be a legal buck. In Western Washington, they have 6-8 inch spikes on their head, and they might be, like I said, both of them look like they could be splitting, but I can't confirm for sure. That makes 6 deer today so far. Just glassed up deer number 7. That just goes to show how if you just sit in a spot, the deer will pop out, because that deer's below me, about 350 yards, 300 yards below me. Sorry, 500 yards further than I thought. 500 yards below me. I've already looked over there 3 different times. That was like the 4th time I've looked over there, and there's a deer. It's a doe, but still, there's a deer. And I had looked down there like I said, 3 other times, and the 4th time, boom, a deer pops out. If you're new to hunting, when you're looking over something, don't just like look at it once and then leave. Give it some time. I mean, just sit and look over the same stuff over and over and over again. Here's a tip. If you're new to hunting, eventually an animal will pop out.
Almost ready?
Alright, well, we just found deer number 10. Just got done eating our hot dogs. And Porter's over here.
Hi.
Just got done eating our dinner, and I decided let's walk back over, since we still have about another hour until it's like dark. Another doe. We haven't seen no big bucks and no bears. Bears and big bucks is what I'm really looking for. That's kind of the hope, is to find some nice mature bucks, or at least a bear. Bear season is 2 weeks away, so I'd like to have a spot that I know a bear is in right now. How was your hot dog?
Good.
So tasty. Look at his face. It's so clean. We gotta clean you up. Just glassed up deer number 11 and 12. They're way out there. Oh, and there's number 13. I just glassed up a 13. Where those 2 deer are, down the clear cut from them, like probably 150, 200 yards. There's another deer. Let's see if I can show you. The other 2 are up here. There's one of them. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, right there. Well, that makes 13 deer. It's hard to tell what they are. I mean, they look from here. They all look like does. Let me see if I can range how far they are. They're about 1,350 to 1,400 yards out there, so they're out there quite a ways. But from this distance, they look like does. They could be small spikes or young bucks. Pretty hard to see little antlers from here. Found deer number 14, and he's a buck. Hard to pick it up in the camera, but he's definitely a 2-point. I mean, not a giant. It's not a giant buck by any means, but he's definitely a 2-point. Yeah, pretty cool. Definitely a 2-point. 14 deer. That's buck number 3. Well, guys, just glassed up 2 additional bucks. A nice one, like a nice 2. He looks like he's a... I mean, he's either a really good 2-point, he might be a small 3, but he's borderline shooter. I mean, I'd have to get a little bit better look at him. And then right below him, there's another 2-point, bigger one than what we saw over to our right. He's definitely way taller and he's forked a little bit deeper. But with this low light and stuff, it's hard for the camera to really pick up their antlers and really pick them up at all. The camera's struggling to zoom that far. But that makes 16 deer now. 16, 3, 5 bucks today, and we found a good one. We found I mean, that's a shooter if you ask me. Pretty cool. Well, guys, that ended up being a pretty productive night. We could probably have about 15 minutes before it's dark. I can still see pretty well, but the camera's having a really struggling to see, and it looks like it's fairly light out still, but that's because I put the sun behind y'all, so it's pulling in as much light as it can. But it really, anytime I try to zoom in on any of the animals, it's too dark for the camera to really do it. So anyway, I'm gonna put the camera up for the night. So our total for tonight was 17 deer, 5 bucks, 1 really nice one, 2 like 2 points. I mean, no shame in that game. If somebody wants to shoot a 2-point, I don't discriminate against any animal. Like if somebody wants, I just say this: you do you. You do you. If you want to shoot a doe, I don't care. If you want to feel, if it's legal, shoot it. I'm not really the person to say, hey, you have to shoot this or that. I personally try and hold out for something bigger, but that's just me. I also eat a lot of tags too doing that, so I don't know. You know, maybe I should shoot smaller things. Anyway, the animals we did see were. I'm super happy with the 5 bucks. The last buck we found, I mean, just to see a nice 2-point. He wasn't as big as the bucks we saw like I think it was 2 or 3 scouting trips ago. We saw some real nice bucks, definite shooter. One of them was a definite shooter. This guy was closer to if you go back and watch that video, which I'll put a link to that video in the description. If you go back and watch that video, the back buck in that group, this buck over here is about the same size. He's like borderline shooter. Public land, I'm pulling trigger probably. But anyway, that's the night. 17 deer and 5 bucks. We're gonna hang out, go to bed, and look for some more animals in the morning. So we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. Made it through the night. Woke up to fog. It is foggy. I had dreams and ambitions of waking up and being able to glass this morning, but we're gonna have to let this fog burn off because it's foggy. You can only see about 100 yards, 150 yards maybe, which is better than nothing. We still might find something, but you can't really see that far. Like all the hills that we were glassing last night, can't see them. Porter's still sleeping. He's still snoozing. Anyway, I'm gonna do what I can for glassing right now while he's sleeping. I'm gonna just glass for just a little bit that I can see. I decided I'm gonna come over here while the fog is still in here, and since we just did a quick little glass and I feel okay, that's why I just got to get it out of my system, like make sure there's nothing down below me. Once I know, hey, there's nothing down there, or at least nothing in the obvious right now, I feel a little better, and I can let my mind ease. Otherwise, like I'll wake up and if I don't go look, then I'm like I'm missing everything. There's 1,000 deer down there. It's usually never the case. Anyway, got that out of my system looking. I'm gonna make coffee now, and then we'll go back over there and look again. All right, guys, got our mountain coffee. Let's give it a taste test. Hey, that's pretty good. I give it a 7 out of 10. Well, let's sip the coffee and look for animals. Well, it was looking like the fog was going to lift. When I came back over here, it looked like it was going to lift. Ain't been the case. I've been sitting here for, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. It stayed the same. It comes up a little bit out over here and I can see a little bit better, and sometimes I can see a little bit further across. But for the most part, it's been basically the same. I've been up for like an hour and a half now. No animals, just fog. Well, I just walked across the road. There's a clearing on the, like where our camp is. I walked, I don't know, the camp's right there. I could see it still. It's 100 yards back that way. I just came across the road to the other side. There's a clear cut on the back side. Glass down here. Deer down there. Bedded down. Looks like a fawn, honestly. From what I can tell, it looks like a fawn. But it's also hard for me to really tell. But it just from what I can see, like when I zoom in on it, I almost think I can see spots, but could just be a regular doe, but I think it's a fawn. If it is a fawn, I would assume the mom is bedded somewhere there too. Probably just lower where I can't see her. But we finally found a deer. We're gonna walk back over the tent just so we, just in case Porter wakes up. Don't want him to be thinking I left him. Well, fog is actually lifted. I could actually see across now. It's definitely starting to pull up and lift. I can, basically everything below me is like fog free. Now I'm able to see across to like where we were spotting all the animals yesterday. So I'm gonna get to glassing. See what we can find. That didn't take long. Pretty sure it's a doe. I lost it. I don't know where it went. And that's just that thing about glassing reap rod. They don't have to move far and you'll lose them. Doesn't help the fog's kind of rolling back through that spot. I just glassed up 4 deer. One's a buck for sure. One's a 2-point, or like a little 2-point. There's 5 deer there. It's 5 deer. It's 3 of them. 3 of them are bedded, and then there's 2 standing up feeding, and they're all pretty much together. I know for sure 2 are bucks. I'm pretty sure 3 of the 5 are bucks. It's hard to really confirm because there's still a little bit of fog across there. The ones that are standing, I definitely know are 2 points. Might actually be the same ones, the same 2 little tall spikes / small little barely 2 points that we saw yesterday. And they look like they've maybe met up with 3 other deer. Oh, I slept great, bro.
Did you hear yourself snoring?
Yes? Did you hear yourself snoring?
Yep.
I didn't hear you snore. Well, Porter finally woke up. It's 8:20. That's pretty good sleep, man. For the mountains, that's about normal time for him. He wakes up about that time every day, so he slept, I think, just fine. Well, just glassed up 5 more deer, way over yonder, like 1,400 yards out there. All does. It looks like one is a mom with 2 fawns. It's like a doe with 2 fawns, and then just 2 bigger does. But 5 more deer. Up to 13 deer this morning. Just glassed all of our hills that we glassed last night. Ended up seeing a total of 14 deer.
Oh, nice. That tastes good.
That tastes good?
Yeah. But still a little hot.
Just trying this hot chocolate. But yeah, saw 14. I think, let me think. 1, 2, I think 3 were bucks. I believe 3 were bucks. I'm pretty sure that was all. The rest are does. So that's a good morning. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to tear down the tent. We're going to pack it up. And then we're just going to drive around and just check out different spots and see how many deer we can see for the day. All right. That right there is where the tent used to be. It's now loaded up in the back of the truck. Truck's loaded up. All of our camping stuff. Porter's still playing with the trucks over here. His little toy trucks. We got camp tore down, and now we're just going to head out and, not head out, but we're just going to drive around looking for more animals, new spots. See if we can't add to this deer total of 14, and hopefully add a bear to the list. So, you ready, bro? Let's do it. Alright guys, if you remember when Porter was sleeping, I walked like 100 yards across the road from camp and found what I thought was a fawn. It is a fawn, and it's still there. It's still bed in the same spot, and up from it about, oh man, can't be that far. Fawn's way down there. Decent ways actually. It's probably a 50 to 100 yards. It's hard to judge distance from here, but Mom's bedded just above her. There's Mom right there behind that stump, and the baby is way down here. Just a little guy. Way down there all by himself. Mom is a new deer. Mom's a deer we didn't see this morning, so that makes deer number 15. So anyway, before we left camp, I just decided to come back over here, and fog's lifted, and fog is literally pretty much out of here. The the highest mountain peaks still have a little bit, but pretty much everywhere else is fog free. Cool, 15 deer. Alright, well, sun's come out. It's hot. So to combat that, shout out to my sister. We've set up the old umbrella. My sister got me this. And it's for like to attach to like a camping chair or whatever, for like when you're watching your kids play sports in the sun or in the rain or whatever. It's attached to the chair, but I'm like, which I'll use it for that. But when she gave it to me, my first thought was, man, that'll work great in the woods. For when it's raining or for when it's sunny. And it really does work. Get this bad boy set up. I mean, it's just attached to my tripod. And it just keeps the sun from beating down on my neck. Now we're just glassing this hill. Porter's down here below me.
Hi.
Sitting in the shade. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little thing. So, thanks, sis. Just found 2 more deer. Came around a corner. They were in the road. Just running. It was like a mom and a fawn running down the road. All I had was my action camera handy and turned it on and tried to film them as they were running down. I don't know. Action cameras, you know, like they were only 30 yards, 40 yards, but it's going to look like they were 500 yards with the action cam if it caught them at all. But up to 17 deer now. Give you guys a little update on our day so far. What's been going on? We've seen the 2 does that ran out in front of us on the road. Saw those 2. We saw another doe that was bedded off the side of the road but into the timber. She was like, there was in the timber, it's kind of open. She was like 30 yards, 35 yards, somewhere in there. Just bedded on this little knob. Brings our deer total to 18. Let's see, what else happened? We did a little lunch break earlier, which was great. And we went and checked out an area where I saw some bears last year. Didn't see any bears this time, but there was still a lot of bear sign there. I probably saw like, oh man, a lot of stumps tore up. I mean, that's probably the number one thing I look for as far as when I'm trying to find an area where I know there's a bear, is stumps, tore up stumps. That's kind of what I'm always looking for when I'm trying to just find like bear sign and like an area where a bear is at. That kind of gives me an indicator. Even if I don't see a bear, I at least found where one lives. It's kind of like seeing rubs. You know, it doesn't mean you're gonna see the buck or the elk or whatever that left the rub, but you at least know there's one in the general area, kind of a thing. And Porter is having a fun time. He's over here. Porter's over here with his trucks, playing in the dirt. Mom's gonna love how clean you are because we're gonna clean you up before you go home. Well, we found our 19th deer of the day just a little bit ago. Kind of got it on film. I did get it on film, but it was, I don't know how well it's gonna really pick it up because the deer was like in a bush basically, so you could barely see it. Like when I saw it, it was out in the open, and then it had walked behind these trees and stayed in the trees, like actually like in the tree. You could barely make out the deer. So, and it was far. You know, it was probably out there, I don't know, 600 yards or so. Oh, we're gonna keep on keeping on. That's all we can do. Pulled up here about 6:30, 7:30 now. Nothing. And now, I would say like right about now, from now until dark is going to be prime time. But we also we're way back in here. Just to get back home, we're 2.5 hours from home. It's going to be late when we get home. I got to work tomorrow. So we're going to head out of here. But we had fun. We ended up eating dinner here at this spot. Had some hot dogs again. That was fun. Our deer total so far, as they stand right now in this moment, is 19 deer, only 3 bucks. It's really still pretty good. I mean, anything we see, we might end up seeing something on the way out. Like I said, we got a long trek out of here, so it's still very possible that we see something on the way out. If not, that's a fine, and we ended with 19 deer and on a 80-degree summer day. So, and we found some spots. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we did see like fresh bear poop down not too far from where we're at here in the road. So more bear sign that we saw. So bear season 2 weeks from now, I think we're gonna get one. Anyway, we're gonna head out of here, and thanks for watching. We'll do it again.
Here's a super one.